Hello and welcome back to part 2 of my talk on common mistakes new nail techs make. I decided to split this into a two-part video as I wanted to go into a little more detail with each topic and not give everyone an information overload. In this video I talk about pricing, advertising, timing, as well as further education and a few other topics. If you haven't watched part 1 of the series, I will link you to it now. Otherwise, let's pick up where we left off. The fifth mistake that I find that a lot of new nail techs make is not taking up further training or further classes. You do the training, you think, great, I'm qualified, I have my qualification, I've been told that I'm good enough now to do nails. Yep, you are good enough to do nails. However, it doesn't really matter how long you've been in the industry for. You should always look at further education, further training, always trying to build up your skills. I find that it's really easy to get your qualification and then 6 months later form bad habits, and then 3 years later you are still carrying those bad habits with you, and then you turn into the nail tech that says, I've always done it this way, I know what I'm doing, I've been doing this for 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 years. And it doesn't matter how many years you are in the industry, you will always learn something new. They will always bring out more products. They are constantly bringing out new innovations in regards to nail products, so you can never stop learning. And that brings me to number 6. People who try and take on too much at once. When I was doing my course, it was actually a 2-part course. First part was nails and the second part was beauty, makeup, waxing, massage, all of that. And I know that there are a lot of courses out there that couple makeup, beauty therapy and nails into the one course. And there's nothing wrong with that, but learning how to do nails is a massive journey. There are a lot of skills that you do need to learn, and I think if you are focusing on massage and makeup and waxing and hair and all the beauty and nails, there's only so much time in your day that you can dedicate. And if you are only doing one nail client per week as opposed to say 10 to 20 nail clients a week, I know some people do more, some people do less, and that's absolutely fine. But if you're only doing one nail client every other week and you are focusing more on makeup, you do sort of lose those skills and you don't develop them as fast as you can. So I do recommend sitting down, really focusing on what you want to do exactly. If you're unsure, give it all a go and then focus on the one and then move on. I was initially intending to maybe learn how to do makeup. I decided to leave after I finished my nail course because I went, oh, this is pretty intense. There is a lot I need to learn here. I'm just going to focus on my nails first, and then if I wanted to do makeup later on, there's no reason why I can't. And moving on 3 years, I decided not to take on makeup. I love nails too much, and I'm glad that I only focused on one thing at a time. So don't overexert yourself, don't push yourself too hard. Focus on one thing at a time and throw yourself into it 100%. Number 7, stressing about time. I've seen it everywhere. And I guarantee there probably is not a nail tech out there that at some point in their careers would be stressing about time. It takes me too long. How long do you take? I saw someone who had actually been qualified 2 whole months, and she was stressing because it was taking her 2 hours to do a set of nails. Now, it takes me sometimes 2 or 3 hours to do a full set of nails. It all depends on what you are doing. And I've done full sets of nails before within an hour. So am I stressed about how long I take? No. Was I stressed when I first started about how long I was taking? Oh yeah, absolutely. So don't ever stress about how long it takes you. I know that there are some amazing nail techs out there, such as Selena Ryden, and she has done a video on this. If you look her up and you can watch her full video, she talks about how she doesn't really stress about how long it takes her because she would rather the quality over quantity, and that's sort of what I've adapted into my salon. So I would rather do a really good job than sort of rush them in and out. So I book a client every 2.5 to 3 hours. I give them an hour and a half for their appointment, but if they want a little bit extra, we can go 2.5 hours and be very comfortable with that. And I'm not checking the time and stressing. I think there's only been 2 times in the 3 years I've been doing nails that a client has turned up just as I was finishing another client. So that really happens for me because I do give a lot of time and I don't stress about it. Think about how you want to do it. Do you want to just get as many as you can in and out, or do you want to have that quality time with your clients, quality time, and do the nails so they're going to last? And there's really no right or wrong way. It is all personal preference. So if you decide, I don't care if I take 2 hours to do a set, that's fine. If you want to work in a really high-paced salon and just do the nails in 50 minutes, there's no reason why you can't do that as well. Find out what you want to do, find out what your clients want, and adjust accordingly. 8. One I won't touch on for too long is thinking that you are going to be amazing after doing a course. I know I said previously that some courses take a matter of weeks. I've seen courses done in 4, I've seen courses done in 10, I've seen courses that go for 12 or more months. Regardless of how long you do a course, I don't think really relates on the quality that you are going to get. I strongly am a believer of you get out what you put in. It does depend on your educator. It does depend on how much determination and how much practice you have. You could do a course that goes for 12 months, 1 day a week, so 52 lessons, and you could go home and never practice and only do what you do in your training at your school. Versus, say, someone who has only done and studied nails for 8 weeks but goes home at the end of every day, even if they only do 1 lesson per week, and they could go home and practice for 6 hours a day and actually develop their skills faster. That is definitely what I did. I would go home, so my course was 2 days a week for 10 weeks. All up, I had 20 lessons to learn. But what I did every day was I came home and I sat at my desk, and at the time it was a little fold-out desk that you get for picnics, and I sat there for 4 to 7 hours a day, every day, practicing on tips, practicing acrylic, and I was probably one of the only people in my class that moved on to open their own business, because everyone else found it too hard, because they weren't, not that they weren't putting in the effort, but I don't think they realized how hard it actually was to learn. A lot of people think that you pick up the nail brush, you dip it into your liquid, you pick up your acrylic, you put a little bit of putty on the end of the nail, sculpt it, file it, and it's all brilliant, it's all perfect, and it's easy, and there's rainbows and there's sunshine. And then they get to the hard reality, and a lot of people quit. A lot of people quit my nail course. So don't think that you are going to be this amazing, incredible nail tech straight after you are qualified. It does take a long time. It takes... Okay, so I've seen nail techs who've taken a photo of their work when they first became qualified, about a year or 2 into their career, and then 7 years later, they've compared it to another photo. And if you look at all those photos, you see steady growth. You see their skills just getting better and better as time goes by. So what they were doing at 3 years may have looked great and seemed great to them at the time, but then they move forward, say another 4 or 5 years, and then compared their work to when they're at 3 years, and they've obviously gotten a heap better then. So don't think that just because you've been doing it for a year or 2 or 3 or 4 that you're going to plateau and that's the best that you are ever going to be. It's one of those things where techniques always change, there's always new training, there's always new ideas and new shapes and new designs and new ways of doing everything. So there's only ever room to grow. In the short time that I've been in the industry, I've seen so much growth already. So don't think that you are going to grab your bit of paper and be the best nail tech you can be. Take that as the first step in your career, but I can't tell you how many steps that is going to take to get to where you want to be. And even after 10 or 15 years, I don't know if I'll be where I want to be. So I guess keep trying, and don't let that demoralize you. Don't look at your trainer and say, okay, well, you've taught me everything that you know, but I'm still not doing it the way you're doing it. It takes time. It definitely takes time. 9. Poor advertising is a massive, massive one. I've seen people who don't get any clients, don't get any inquiries, and I've seen a lot of ads that nail techs have done in the past, and I've gone, oh, and I've just kind of kept scrolling, because if I was a client, I definitely wouldn't want to click or give them a call or anything like that. And the reason being is they're using words like cheap. Don't ever, I know the temptation is hard when you first start. You want to say that, hey, I'm doing this for cheap just to get the experience. So try and avoid words like cheap, because in your client's mind or in a customer's mind, their cheap is cheap. Cheap is bad. They don't want to go to someone who labels themselves as cheap. You don't ever want to come across as cheap, because then you're already sort of setting yourself up in this negative image. And even if you move forward a year or 2 years and you raise your prices, people are going to look back at when you were cheap and go, yeah, that's the person who was charging $20 and now she's trying to charge $70. Who does she think she is? And unfortunately it happens. So try and use words like special, or even you can say limited time offer. You are looking for nail models. Everyone wants to be a nail model. Everyone likes the term model. So if you are advertising for models at a discounted rate, you can say something like, my full rate is $50, but for the first, I need 3 models to come in. Let me do any design for $20, and that will cover basically just the materials that I've used. So instead of advertising to a broad spectrum of people and saying, hey, I do nails for cheap, who wants in? You are saying, I need 3 people. I have 3 spots for 3 models to come in for a special discount, and you'll gain more traction with advertising for models than advertising for everyone. Which leads me to number 10, price. There's always debates going on, and there's always nail techs asking, can I see a price list? I don't know what to charge. What are people charging for this? What are people charging for that? There's always people telling you that you're too expensive, or you're too cheap, or you should raise your prices. I know I've been told before that I'm too cheap, and I've told other techs before that I think their prices are too cheap and they need to raise them. I guess the issue is, a lot of the time we don't actually value ourselves at the start enough to justify charging $70 for a set of nails. And that is great while you are learning for the practice, but definitely advertise those as model prices, as special prices, because then you've dug yourself this hole and you're like, okay, great, I've been doing this for 6 months, I've gotten all my models, I want to actually start making some money now. And then you are faced with this new issue: how do I raise my prices without offending everybody? What the fear a lot of nail techs have is, if I now say, hey, my $20 sets are now $40, and let's face it, it doesn't seem like a big jump, but we're talking double. If you're doubling your prices, or even going from 20 to 50 for a fill or a full set, that might scare a lot of your clients away. So don't undercut yourself at the start, because you will get those clients that come to you because you are cheap, and as soon as you raise your prices, they've gone to the next person who charges $20. So I think definitely limit it. Make sure you make it clear from the start that your prices are your prices, and any discount rates that you have on offer are special rates. They're model rates. They are only for a limited time. That way, once your special, I guess, ends, you have always had your prices at that full rate. The problem is we don't feel valued enough to justify charging what we charge. But the amount of hours that we put in, the thousands of dollars in training and products alone, it makes it worth what we charge. I have thousands of dollars in products and my range. So when my clients sit down, they go, wow, there's a lot here to choose from, and I'm always bringing in new things. And if I was charging only a small amount, every time, my clients wouldn't be able to sit down and have a big range and always have new products coming in. And I tell them, well, the money that you give to me not only pays for my tax and for my training, but it also helps replace all the high quality products that I use on your nails. So I think if you value yourself enough to buy high quality products, you can definitely justify the price that you charge. So try not to compare your price list to other people's at the start. There are a lot of salons in my area that charge $25 for a full set of nails, and they're in and out in an hour. And I thought, how am I going to compete with that? But I have, and I did, and I don't have any issues with gaining new clients. So do not use that as a comparison. You should never be comparing yourself to what the shopping centers are charging, because again, you don't know what products they are using. So if you can back yourself up with your quality, you can justify the prices that you do charge. Unfortunately, in this industry, there are a lot of people who undercut, and sometimes it is the people who undercut that give the industry a bad name. Why would they come to you and spend $100 to $150 on a full set of blinged out Swarovski crystal nails that literally cost you $60 in crystals to apply? And this has happened before. Why would they come to you and pay you $100 to $150 for that set of nails when the person down the road is charging $40 for the exact same thing but with imitation crystals? So if you value yourself and value the industry, don't be one of those people that undercuts just for the sake of undercutting. So I wish you all the absolute best of luck on your journeys. I hope some of this advice was useful, and if you have any questions or if there's anything that you did want to ask me, feel free to send me a private message or pop a comment down below, and I will be happy to look at all your questions and help out as best I can. Like I said, I have not been in this industry for a very long time, so I'm still, I guess, on the same journey with everyone else. I'm still trying to find my place. I'm still trying to find what works, what doesn't work, and all I can say is enjoy and embrace every step of the way, because I could not picture myself doing anything else with my life. So good luck. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye.